Do you know who made a good argument against my view on creative freedom?
Whom?
Michael Koretzky.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you're familiar with change the cover, things like that.
Yeah.
And I view these as like absolutely horrible for artistic freedom. I still do, actually. Um, but he's like, yeah, well, hey, you know what? It's capitalism. The company's making a product. People are criticizing that product, even demanding they change the product, even demanding censorship. That's probably fine under like a liberal democratic capitalist framework. I don't think he phrased it that way, but and I agree that I don't think it should be illegal behavior, but I think that like in terms of social behavior, I think that we should like probably try to discourage people from engaging in that kind of way. Like it's not illegal for a pastor to demand that George Carlin be taken off the radio, right?
Yeah.
But like he probably shouldn't do it. Like that's my view of it.
Yeah, and they would probably argue that he's offensive. They wouldn't, I hope, be arguing that the presence of George Carlin on the TV screen, causes people to die of the plague or something, which is essentially what a lot of people's arguments against media boil down to, that they're dangerous. The pastor would be just arguing that he's offensive, or he says bad things about my faith or whatever else. Well, you're entitled to complain, and he's entitled to tell you to go and stick your head in a pig, and everyone's happy.
But Michael Koretzky's argument was that it's not censorship. It's not censorship to say for someone, even a large number of people on Twitter, to demand you have to change this game, you have to change this cover, because it's capitalism. It's a company. They can choose to listen to it or not. And if they change it, your issue should be with the company.
Okay, so I'm
I
going to
hope I'm
make
not
what is
straw manning him. Holy fuck. I really hope I'm
probably
not.
not. Okay, I'm going to make a terrible, terrible argument for a socialist to make, but God, I wish it was just capitalism. I miss the days when companies could be relied upon to just do whatever made the most money, because then they would be telling these people where to get off, because it is just a tiny minority of loud people on social media that are demanding these things. And it's clearly not a commercial decision to go along with these loud voices making these demands, because every time a company does, almost, it seems, they lose money. That's what's happening with Wizards of the Coast in the tabletop space. It's happened with plenty of other companies, sometimes justified, sometimes not. Sometimes it's, someone else starting up a moral panic. But, it would be lovely if they could be relied upon to just act in in an entirely commercial way. But I don't think that's true. So I just called up the ACLU definition. Censorship: the suppression of words, images, or ideas that are, quote, offensive, unquote, happens whenever some people succeed in imposing their personal, political, or moral values on others. So it's any time that happens. So the argument is really whether censorship is justified or not. Censorship can be carried out by the government as well as private pressure groups. Censorship by the government is unconstitutional. In contrast, when private individuals or groups organize boycotts against stores that sell magazines of which they disapprove, their actions are protected by the First Amendment, though they can become dangerous in the extreme. Private pressure groups, not the government, promulgated and enforced the infamous Hollywood blacklists during the McCarthy period, but these private censorship campaigns are best countered by groups and individuals speaking out and organizing in defense of the threatened expression. So the ACLU would agree with me, and presumably you, that yes, this is censorship. Any suppression of speech and artistic expression is censorship. So the argument is not what is censorship, it's when is it justified, when is it not.
I agree. But if you want to play like the other side of that, like almost it is really weird though when you're dealing with products to an extent, right? Because obviously people have the right to boycott products, and that's probably good. Like if people boycott things that are like actually bad, right?
I have wrestled with this problem a lot, and I still haven't managed to figure out where the line is for me. Because I think, personally, individually deciding, I'm not going to watch that, I'm not going to buy that, I don't like that person's view, so I'm not going to buy that. That seems to me to be fine. But you get into these organized boycotts where very large groups are organized to boycott something, and the reasons that are given may not necessarily be accurate, but lots of people are going along with it. That to me is too far into the censorship line. But I also don't think boycotts should be banned, and I don't know how you would even go about doing so, if you could. So I don't know where my line is between the two, and I can't. I've been puzzling over this for years, and I haven't managed to figure it out.
Yeah, I personally agree that like I think group boycotts are fine too. I think that if a bunch of people say, "I'm not going to buy Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball," and they even create a or like I said, Hogwarts Legacy. I think if a large number of like people are like, "Hey, I'm not going to buy Hogwarts Legacy," and when it becomes you shouldn't either, it becomes a bit weird because I don't. That's
Yeah,
you're imposing your values on other people. That's where trust lies. But if you just want to like create a social group where it's like, hey, we're the people who don't like Hogwarts Legacy, and we're gonna like all follow each other on Twitter, but we're not gonna like harass anybody or make a big deal out of it. Like, I think that's fine.
yeah. There was not enough coverage of the harassment going on there. It's the wrong people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tachyon Blue. Thank you for watching another one of my GamerGate book video segments. Altogether, I've interviewed over 70 people involved with GamerGate, and I'm going to be launching a Kickstarter campaign in the coming weeks. So please, I need your support to help make this project a reality. I'm turning these 70 plus interviews into a multi volume series of books, the first volume of which is already completed. And so I'd like you to please stay tuned for more information about the Kickstarter. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and comment. More updates will be coming in the near future. Thank you, and take care.